You are now listening to Tribbles and Ecstasy, a production of Holosuite Media. Tune in to our live show every Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
This is Admiral James T. Kirk of Federation Starship Enterprise. Your presence here is an act of war. You have 2 minutes to surrender your crew and your vessel, or we will destroy you.
Admiral Kirk, this is your opponent speaking. Do not lecture me on treaty violations, as this broadcast is intended for mature audiences. In the following podcast, there will be thoughts and opinions expressed that in no way reflect your federation, this station, website, or affiliated partners.
Who is this? How dare you?
Who I am is not important. Listener discretion is.
Klingon best.
Space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of the starship Tribbles. Her ongoing mission to explore strange new worlds, to seek out new content and new stuff, to boldly go where no podcast has gone before.
Another night of Tribbles and Ecstasy. Hey, 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 hey. Hey, 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 hey.
Hello and welcome to Tribbles and Ecstasy, episode 158. I'm your host, MidNite Shadow, and with me today we have DrTrekkie.
Hello, everyone.
We have Skipper.
Hello.
We have Woody.
Good day, everyone.
And we have Sunseahl.
Hello, sweeties.
So, welcome everybody. And today we start with the news that this weekend is bonus marks weekend for Star Trek Online. Will anybody be playing some extra this weekend?
It's wonderful getting 140 and 50 something Delta marks every time I play the crystalline entity.
What are you trying to do with Delta marks? Delta marks. Why?
Pass out the Delta tokens to all of my other tunes.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I've still got to do that.
Yeah, of course.
And that's after completing the weapon 3-piece set, because isokinetic cannon.
Really? Is it that good?
I don't know yet, because I literally haven't played with the set. I finished getting the stuff for the set last night and said, okay, I'm done, and logged out and went to bed. The isokinetic cannon itself is the one thing I talked about maybe 2 or 3 years ago when the idea of going into the Delta Quadrant first came up, so I had to get that 3-piece set.
So far, the only thing I've got from the Delta rep is the gel pack. I've just basically been just building up marks. I think I have something like 6,000 Delta marks.
6,000? I have like 2,000, which I thought was crazy, and I agree. The only thing I've gotten was the Bio-Neuro pack, because it's the only damn thing that takes, 2 ancient power cells? Everything else is like 5, I think.
Well, I thought I didn't quite know what I wanted. I hadn't had a chance to play it on Tribble to have a sort of look around. So I thought, well, I'll just bank the marks. And...
Hey, if you're getting anything, that gel pack is a thing to get. 7% reduction in bridge officer abilities. 2% power levels across the board.
Yeah, I've already upgraded it to Mark 14.
Yeah, that was one of the first things that I got, and yeah, I've just basically been banking the marks ever since, and because I know that I've got all the stuff that I want from the other rep systems. So what I've done is I've just been banking the Delta ones, and especially now, one of the patches this week, which we'll talk about later. But one of the fixes is we now have a greater selection of marks to choose from.
Which is actually what I was questioning whether or not was a bug last week.
Yeah, so they'd left that out. So they've now changed it, which is really good because I was basically just picking the Nukara marks and trading that in for dilithium.
Oh yeah, that's the other one. I have tons and tons of those new car marks.
Yeah, basically I did have thousands of those as well, but I basically just handed those all in for dilithium now. So I've got anywhere between sort of like 20 and 40 marks of the rest, and then yeah, I've just been building up those Delta ones. So
You didn't get the new car set? I've been looking at that recently because of the deflector.
yeah, I've got that. I haven't really used it much, to be honest.
The
A
new
lot.
car set is actually really good if you're using a science setup,
I've
but
read
if you're
that,
using
yeah.
if you're using a science setup with polarons, it's even better.
What I was reading is that set with the Romulan or Reman engines would be the best for the bug ship with Polaron. No, well, not with Polaron, but with any sort of high DPS.
Congratulations on winning that ship, by the way.
I haven't opened the box.
I was going to say, have you opened it yet?
I'm too scared.
Well, just wait till you get your free character slot for your Delta recruitment thing and use it then.
Because you've only got the one character, don't you?
I know, and I was thinking maybe I should make a new one, but I don't know if I want to.
Well,
Good.
see, here's the thing. Wait until the Delta recruitment event and then make a Nicktoon.
I know I was looking at that, but I don't know. I put so much into this one character. I don't know if I can do another one.
Well, those people listening live can make use of the Delta weekend because it's only going until Monday, the 16th of March. So hopefully people can make use of that. But as we were talking about Delta recruitment, that is the next item on our agenda. So yeah, this looks so much fun. I was thinking about creating a new character. So
Thinking.
well, okay, I knew I was going to create a new character. Oh, I've still got some empty slots. Got to fill them. So yeah, I think I've got something like 4 empty slots on my second account, and I think 3 on my primary account. So
Yeah, even though it might be a good thing, I'm not exactly going to be rushing to create a new character. I'm having enough fun as it is with the current characters I've got at the moment, with running around with 4 of them. So, but one thing I really like to point out with it, because this is like an event that's running from April 2nd through to 21st of May. Now, so like, it's probably, being 21st of May, it's probably a good indication of when Season 10 is actually going to be launching. So I'm just going to look at the calendar here. So it's finishing... Yeah, finishing on the Thursday, so I'll also be finishing on maintenance. So, well, if it's going to be launch day for the season 10, then we'll probably soon find out, won't we?
yeah, that's what I was thinking because it gives people a reason to be in there and leveling up characters and everything else for everything that's to come. So
Yeah,
but no,
part of the thing I'm really keen on actually seeing is that with the feature episodes, when you can get the Breen officer and all that. I know they've reduced it back a bit now and made it like a bonus, a special event for playing feature episodes. You can get the Romulan science officer and the Breen breach officer and the Jem'Hadar breach officer. I'm pretty keen on seeing that because I've got a character that needs all of them.
but no, it definitely looks interesting. For people who haven't heard about this, as Woody said, from April 2nd, which is how far is that away now? That's what, 3 weeks, isn't it? 2.5 weeks.
Yep. About 2.5 weeks.
Yeah, the 21st of May. So that's going for must be about 8 weeks in total. Yeah, they're doing what they're calling Delta Recruitment. So it's only for new recruits that you get, and they'll be recognised by a Delta symbol next to their names in the actual menu. Now, all these new characters that you get will have a bonus trait throughout the event where you can actually gain extra dilithium ore for actually defeating your enemies, and you get an extra bonus that extends to your entire group as well. This bonus trait will only be available during the event, so if you're wanting to get dilithium ore, then yeah, it'll be a good way to actually get that. They've also said that there's going to be some additional rewards which will be gained through leveling up through the story content, especially with looks like the Breen story arc, because you're going to have special objectives on certain maps. So yeah, it's definitely. Go on.
Do you think any of this will matter after the event? I'm trying to figure this out. You probably will get some special bonuses, but do you think after the 21st this will go back to just a normal everyday character?
Good question.
I think so, right?
It does. Well, if they're indicated that they're a Delta recruit, then that trait will probably stay, because they might create other events which are sort of specific to the Delta Quadrant, which your Delta recruits might get. And things that would be nice, because if they do similar things in the future, so if say they expand into the Gamma Quadrant, they could do like a Gamma recruit event, and then when they do special events within like the Delta Quadrant, those recruits could get or use that trait again.
Yeah, that would be interesting. I mean, it's a good strategy to get us all to have many characters that all need many things with many Zen and many dilithium. So I can see how it works. I wonder if they'd fulfill it like you just said, if they'd really open it up like that. But I'm not convinced yet.
It seems a shame to only use it for the once.
Yep.
But especially now they've actually added dilithium to all the in-game mission content as well. So it's definitely a good time if you want, because you can transfer dilithium as well to other characters. So if you're trying to save up for something, well, you can level up your character and still send the dilithium.
Well, it's not even that too. The Delta recruits actually get additional dilithium on top of whatever they get for mission running,
right?
And even including like being in queues, and they share that bonus with everyone that's on their team.
Right, just for the event.
Just for the events until the 21st of May, yeah.
It's interesting. Which one of you guys on here has a Romulan character? Isn't that you, son? Someone has like.
I've got two Romulan characters.
I've got a Romulan and a Reman.
I was thinking of starting a Romulan character, but what do you guys think? Worth it? Not worth it?
Well, when the Delta Recruit event starts, that's what I'm gonna do.
Huh.
Well, I'm gonna start a Reman.
I still have a legitimate free character slot to use. But
Yeah.
I'm waiting specifically for getting my hands on the Galore before I ever make that character. So being given a new character in this recruitment, I think I'm going to make a Romulan tactical officer.
But no, it's definitely worth creating a Romulan, because you get to play the Romulan content, which is very good.
Do you think that's worth it for this bug ship, or should I make someone else?
Well, you can always create a Romulan tactical officer, because the Romulans have a trait which...
The critical chance trait, right?
Yeah.
Do they... Oh, wow. So your character gets that, because I just bought that fleet one for like, whatever, 80,000 fleet credits and stuff. So you're saying your character has that trait too, that 1.9%?
I believe
bump.
so.
Well, see, that's the thing, though. If you're going Romulan, you want to... I know a lot of people go, oh, well, you can use all the other weapon types, but if you're going with that purist Romulan build,
Plasma.
you're going to want plasma because
I know.
I believe it's the superior Romulan operative that grants plasma damage bonuses.
Yeah, that's what my main tune is now, all plasma.
And if you
it's
actually
really
have
good.
if you actually get some Raymond with a superior infiltrator, they actually extend the damage bonus time you get from decloaking.
Huh. But what do you guys think if I want to take advantage of this bug ship with like maybe Polaron? Is there any race that is best for that? For this, if I made a new one.
Well, doesn't anti-proton give the best crits?
Well, it depends on which anti-proton. If it's normal anti-proton, yeah. The Voth anti-proton does the 50% reduction to your enemy's weapons power.
That's right.
Or damage output. And the Undine anti-proton is the one that has the space knockback.
I was gonna do all Polaron on this bug ship and use the Jem'Hadar space set that Skipper suggested last week. But you can't there's no playable races that have anything to do with that stuff, does it? Is there? I don't think so.
Not really, no.
Not really, no.
Maybe I should hold it until the Gamma expansion happens.
Well, the thing is, with the loadouts, you can at least play with the weapons.
Oh yeah, no, I know all that. I'm just wondering if I go to this bother, I want a tactical officer because I've played engineer forever.
You want a racial trait that will allow you to get the most out of that ship as possible. I understand that.
You are right. So until I figure that out.
Yeah. So pretty much in simple words, you want to do the perfect build.
Yes.
Don't we all?
I know, that's why I don't think I'm ever going to open this stupid ship.
Well, see, then I would suggest not putting it on any of the 3 factions that we have them as we have yet.
That's a good idea. I might hold. There's no rush.
You know, everybody keeps talking over one another about us getting like a playable Borg faction at some point, and it's like, if we do that, will our innate trait be efficiency? And if so, that's a character you should start a bug ship build on, because efficiency increases your base power levels across the board.
Yeah, but I have an engineer, so that takes care of most of that. I wanted to use it on my main tune. I think. Not efficiency, but power is certainly. Okay, I'm distracting us. Maybe we should move on.
That's all right. But yeah, it also mentions in this blog about having either a 1.5 XP bonus, a 2 times XP bonus, or possibly even a 2.5 times XP bonus for the entire week. So yeah, it looks like there'll be some XP bonuses going on as well.
Yeah, that's something I'm a bit cautious, with getting extra bonuses to level up your character with, because regardless of how they've got it all set up, and it's now, you know, a bit more slower now with between 50 and 60. It's like, to me, it's just leveling up is just too quick for this game, and I was thinking, yeah, do we really need to give bonus boost to level up your character?
Yeah.
With a game that's a little bit too quick.
I would like that. I would like that on all my other characters that aren't level 60 yet, but not a new character that I could level to level 60 in 2 weeks.
I think it's after the level 60 that even matters. Is it, or does the bonus not extend after level 60?
Well, as you can see, the way the game is actually now set up and whatnot, you can continue on to, like, in hindsight, leveling up to work on your masterization traits. So, you know, every time you level up, you get your little token to put into the masterization side of things. But yeah, it's just, to me, it's sort of like, it still feels a bit too fast for me. You know, for me to be sitting, well, just look at my Riemann character. I level it up right in the middle of the Dornier Larchi series. And I'm in the middle of the Breen series at the moment, and I'm already level 60 because, of course I do other things because, I'm trying to concentrate and get my tech upgrades and all that sort of thing done as well. So, it's no problems leveling up that way as here too. But I was thinking, here I am level 60 and I've still got all this content in front of me, and in hindsight at the moment I'm just not in the mood to play it because I'm just too busy trying to get stuff from my R&D to upgrade everything. So it's like, is this necessary to be so damn quick?
Well, with respect to leveling up being quick, it'll be quicker for us because we know the game. We're not new to the game. We've done most of the content already. So it's a lot quicker for us to get through the game than what it would be for a brand new player to the game. They don't tend to level up that quickly. And what we forget is a lot of this stuff is targeted for people coming into the game brand new and not people like us who have been playing it for years.
Yep.
Oh, that's what I see anyway. So
yeah,
but it's sort of like one person's saying is another person's interpretation. So, oh well.
Yeah. But the bonus XP is only for first run missions that they complete.
Oh yeah.
So it's you run something again, you're not going to get these bonuses. So, but now I've got plenty of characters that have mainly been leveling up through duty officer missions. So it'll be good to try and get some of my lower level ones because I've got, I think it's 4 or 5 that are still under level 10 at the moment.
How fast do you guys clear a level after 60 on your main tunes? How many days does it usually take?
For me, a week and a half.
A week and a half.
And that's just sitting there doing DOF missions.
Yeah, I do a lot of DOF missions too, but it usually takes me a few days, maybe not a week and a half. What about the rest of you guys?
Oh, well, it took me 2.5 weeks, I think it was, to get from 50 to 60.
Oh, well, I meant the specialization points.
Oh, one of those. Yeah, it's probably about 2 weeks. And most of those I'm going in just doing duty officer missions and playing one mission each day.
How about you, Woody?
It's a bit hard to tell because I only really spend about a day and a half on each character per week, and most of that time has mostly just been taken up between doing DOF missions and hitting the PvE queues to get R&D stuff.
Yeah.
So it's not going a million miles an hour with it, if you know what I mean.
Someone told me in my fleet that one of the people come in and every time they log in every day, they level up and they get a specialization point on their character. Just crazy. That's crazy. Once a day.
What were they doing? Argala?
I didn't know. I have to figure out, but I must get a ton of PvE queues if they're doing that. But I do the same thing you guys do. I've been doing a couple of PvE queues for fleet credits and for R&D, and then I do all my 20 DOF missions through there, and that's it. It usually takes me about several days to level up if I'm lucky. How about you, Skipper? Are you a leveling up madman?
I'm focusing on my other tunes, just bringing them all up slowly, reputation-wise.
This is why I'm so hesitant to make another tune. I don't know if I can break that one tune barrier.
Yeah,
well, you can always just give it a try.
I can understand. I can definitely understand because
you put so much.
You ran the this was, I would say, after they went free to play. You got your character up to level 60 or level 50. And then you were doing the STS because Borg and stuff was the in-game gear at that time.
All Omega, yeah.
Okay, well that was easily doable. Then they started creating all of these reputation systems. And it's like, oh well, now when you create a new tune, you level that tune to level 50, and then you hit a brick wall because you suddenly have to do a whole bunch of different stuff to start each one of those reputations in turn.
Yep.
Then you have to finish each one of those reputations in turn.
I know it's
And then
crazy.
and now you're leveling from 1 to 50, and you hit a brick wall in the amount of XP that you get to an extent.
Right.
And at the same time, once you hit level 50, you're still having to filter through all of these reputations.
Well, and that's what's crazy because like I have all tier 5, I have all the passive traits, and I just don't know if I would want to start again with new gear. I'd have to upgrade and new things, new special items and stuff. It's just crazy. But I am very interested because I'm very interested in the Romulan content. So
Well,
I might do.
see, that's why when people say they want to make new characters, and I say, okay, that's a good idea. Do you know what you want to do with that character? No. Well, wait until you know exactly what you want to do with
Yeah.
that character before you make that character. Do you want a character that you can put in the bug ship? Okay, that's part of your plan. What kind of weapons do you want to have on that bug ship? What setup do you want to have?
Yep.
That will determine how you level up from 1 to 60, which reputation you go into, and you go through it.
Yeah. No, you're right. But I think I'm gonna hold that back because now I'm excited about a playable Jem'Hadar character. Who knows? I'll just hold that for a little bit. But
Hey, hold it. Hold
never
that
know.
character. No, here's the thing. Hold that character. And when that actually happens, if that actually happens, you make that Jem'Hadar character, you run through all of that content, and then you do nothing but level up the Delta stuff because Vaadwaur Polaron.
Yeah, no, that's a good idea. No, I think I'll hold off a little bit, but I am interested in this Romulan content. But I'm so connected to my character, my liberated Borg, Servalan character. I love her, but we'll see.
Well, the thing is, you can always just use this event to have a try with a second character. And
Yep.
there's no reason why afterwards this other character can't just stay there while you keep continuing on your primary character.
Stay there and waste away like all your characters, MidNite.
Not all of my characters.
Well, like I say, I've got I have a tactical Klingon character who's only level 10. only level 10. Do you know what he does? He sits in Kronos at the bank. He sits at Kronos at the bank, and he takes all the extra stuff all my other main tunes collect, and he just sits with them until I'm ready to start handing them out or selling them on the exchange.
Good idea.
But yeah, definitely a different event, which is nice to see. So,
Although
yeah.
I do gotta say, Priority One brought this up Thursday, and it's like this whole idea of event fatigue, and I totally understand where people are coming from with that
So do I.
conversation. Because specifically, sure, I love Star Trek Online, but that doesn't mean it's the only game I ever play. So if they constantly have events, you're going to burn me out of that game faster. And then I'm going to feel guilty because everybody's running around with a shotgun going, hey, look, this shotgun's great against the Borg. And it's like, but I wasn't there. Why? I wasn't there.
Well, that's what I'm actually enjoying about the events. Usually I hear people like, there's never anything to do in STO. Getting so bored of just repeating the same content because they're not doing anything. And then the moment they start doing anything, they're going, there's too much to do. I want to do other things.
But see, that is the nature of an MMO. And the problem is,
yeah.
The problem is Cryptic, and God love them, Cryptic tries, but the fact that Cryptic tries to accommodate all this is kind of the problem itself. We had the hourlies long ago, and I said once they took those hourlies away, the only way we were going to get those hourlies back is that they continually throw events at us to keep us playing the game. And this is kind of what's happened. But at the same time, you had all these people in the forums going, everything's too easy, we can insta-pop this mission and that mission and this mission over here. And what did they do? They gave us a new tiered STF system. but maintained the old reward system, which means it's kind of difficult now for even casual players to get the little, the little accessories for things that they need for reputation gear. I
But
mean,
no,
it's one of those things where you see players who are in their self a small majority of the populace complaining as loudly as they can in cryptic, going, here's a bone, but that bone isn't a bone, it's a whole ham hock, and it's taking the rest of the game with it, and it's like, wait, us normal people can't catch up, slow down.
well, they don't just listen to the people who shout loudly. They do also look at sort of what the data tells them. But it's hard. You can never please everybody all of the time, as they say. But no, I'm enjoying all the events, but then for me, Star Trek Online is the only game that I play.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I can only stand one. I can't do much more.
Well, I've dabbled in others. I've played Star Wars. I've gone into Firefall. Tried Neverwinter, and I've sort of had a look at those ones, but I just haven't enjoyed them as much. Sort of, when people talk about STO being a grind, I don't find that, but I have on all the other ones. It's just like,
No, see, I don't know. I guess this is from my perspective as a female or not. You can take it for whatever. But from my perspective, all of these games tend to be a grind at some point. And like you said, you tried Firefall. Firefall is definitely a grind. It's a grind to get from one level to the next because you have to literally do stuff to get the XP, and there's not like a set progression of missions that instantly hand you XP all the time.
yeah.
Well, okay, yeah. In that, getting from level 0 to 40 can be a huge grind. I can see that. And Star Trek has its own kind of grind, and if you're not like subscribed in the Old Republic, that's definitely a grind and experience.
Yeah, I think any game with special gear is a grind. It's just in the nature of gaming. But other than Star Trek, I've gotten into Destiny for a while, and I stopped that. But yeah, I'm only here because of the content and the story, or I probably wouldn't be doing this kind of stuff. But oh well.
The thing with me is one of the reasons why I have so many characters is because I join other fleets because it enables me to play and talk to other people. So each time I connect up, it's a different group of people doing different things in different ways. And then there are other times where I can just pug it. So there's not as much repetition for me as it probably is for a lot of people who go in and it's always with the same people doing the same thing. It's probably why I probably don't find even doing the same content as much in the way as people say as being a grind, because for me it's just slightly different, still fun. I suppose everyone's got their own, as Woody said earlier on, interpretation of what they find is a grind and everything else.
Yeah, well, it's a bit like what I said a couple of weeks ago. They probably just need to be careful with what they do in the future. I know especially with Caspian, quite a lot of people from Caspian are more interested in story than actually grinding out something to upgrade something and stuff like that. So, I'm really hoping that be able to probably bring out a little bit more in the way of story than economic system into the game this year, and maybe next year, and see how we go after that. So, because you could say that everyone here's got some sort of passion for Star Trek Online, And we don't want to see it go just as much as, everyone, all the devs who don't want to see it go. And because they probably have to go themselves. So, I'm really hoping that, they do play their cards right and they'll be, and have that success. So,
Yeah, well, that's what we're all hoping for. Talking about sort of new content, we've sort of mentioned Season 10. I think one of the new things we might get is a new fleet holding, because it has been talked about that it'll be something we could be getting. And with all the stuff with the Delta recruits, I'm wondering if the new fleet holding could be something in the Delta quadrant.
It's possible.
well, we need something to get our fleet tier 6 ships from, so it wouldn't be surprising.
Maybe it will be a caretaker array. I mean, what else Delta Quadrant theme could it be from the show? I can't think of anything offhand.
It'd be interesting. Maybe because there were some planets.
Wait. Hold on. What if we meet the Krenim Empire and they're all traders, temporal traders, not traitors, traders?
Interesting.
But what would that sort of relate to as a fleet holding structure?
It means we get more fleet bank space. Hello.
No, that's what MidNite wants. I don't need any more fleet. I don't need any more bank space.
My fleet does.
Always need more space.
I wonder.
We literally have 2 bank tabs in our fleet bank filled with nothing but those lock boxes.
Oh yeah, there's one in mine, and they're so boring.
Yeah. With the lock boxes, I don't go overboard with them. I only just collect 10, and that's it. So because I know it can easily get very, very overloaded, and probably not necessary unless you want to hang on to them for a couple of months and throw them on exchange at some ridiculous price.
I've been really wanting some of these stupid R&D DOFs at level 15, and they're only in a couple lock boxes.
Well, actually, I don't know if you guys have actually noticed this or not, but with the latest patch, with the latest lock box, it was hardly ever dropping. It wasn't dropping terribly much. It did take a time to get some lock boxes in there, but just from the last maintenance and came out. Now I'm sort of like pretty much in a day got the amount of boxes I got in the last 3 weeks. So they've seemed to have made a bit of an adjustment there.
Well, you also have to look at it this way, from the perspective of the people who are actually going to spend tons and tons of cash on STO just because it's new shiny. This new lockbox, well, we've seen from the past couple of lockboxes to this lockbox itself. This lockbox itself is actually the most value for a key than we've had in previous lockboxes.
Why do you say that?
Well, a lot of the traits people actually want. The ship is actually really good. The weapons that come out of it are excellent. The Vodwar Polarons.
Oh yeah, I've got a bunch of those stacked up.
Then of course there's the ship I went and bought 2 weeks after the thing came out because I knew it wasn't going to be like 40 million EC. Was the APU.
Oh yeah, I've seen that a couple times. How is that ship? Is it cool?
It's a tanky little thing. Of course, it turns into this kind of green monster when you start sticking plasma on it.
Why doesn't that thing come with an APU bridge officer though? That would be awesome.
I do not know because the aquatic carrier doesn't come with an aquatic.
Bridge
officer.
I don't care about an aquatic Xindi. I want one of those APU guys.
Well, you never know. When they open up more missions in the Delta Quadrant, it might be a reward for one of the missions.
See, that's one of those things that, speaking of Delta Quadrant stuff, the people who keep talking back and forth about us getting, a liberated Borg faction, how does that even work? Because if that's going to work through the collective or the new cooperative thing, if that's going to work through that, how does that even happen? Because they have to go all the way back in time through a whole bunch of content.
Yeah, but you know what? I just thought of something. That's gonna be the fleet holding. I bet it's gonna be like a liberated Borg cube. Right? Like there's gotta be some, because I know what you're saying. Like the cooperative is the only bit of that. But I mean, what other thing sort of
Fleet Borg cube from the
Yeah, no,
cooperative.
it's totally good. No, well, that could be the fleet holding, because what other thing really defines Voyager other than Borg? I mean, maybe, species 8472, but it's got to be, or maybe it's a Unimatrix pod or some crap they're gonna call it. There's who knows?
Maybe we get the baby. We finally find the baby.
No,
The baby, the assimilated baby that was in like one episode and then just disappeared.
no.
Maybe we find it somewhere out there, floating next to a monolith.
I bet the fleet holding will be some Borg doodad. I'm saying it here first.
Well, definitely interesting to see several ideas.
Maybe Janeway and Paris's geckos have had time to actually evolve, and they've actually started some sort of civilization now. Because we never actually explored how intelligent those things were.
I know, we went through this the other week.
We never really explored that, so they could literally have a whole civilization by now. They could.
Well, going back to the bug ship, the new one, we've had 2 blogs that have come out as well this week, which was designing the Jem'Hadar ship and making the Jem'Hadar strike ship. So it sort of goes into how it was all created and about the bridge officer seatings, because the Tier 6 ship has the 13th Bridge Officer ability slot as an upgrade of one of the Lieutenant Universal seats. That's gone to Lieutenant Commander Universal. And one thing I didn't realise before, must have missed it in one of the previous blogs, is that it's actually got a dual specialisation.
Yep.
So that's the first one that we've had where the slot is actually either intel or command.
So are people? I'm interested in what you guys are doing, because I feel like intel has just sort of been overshadowed by all this command stuff. Are you guys fleshing out both of these, or one of these, or either of these?
I haven't actually done anything with any of them, to be honest. I've just been using the normal abilities, because the stuff that I tend to be flying and the way that I sort of work, I've not wanted to get rid of all the stuff that I have had, because I thought it would be a lot more useful to me. So I've got intel and command officers, but yeah, they tend to just have standard abilities.
But with your specialization points, I mean, have you been filling up either of these?
Oh yeah, well the first one that I filled up was pilot, and now I'm working through command. I started on intel, but then command came along, so I left it, because...
that's what I was wondering. So you left it, because that's what it feels like.
The command abilities, I feel, are better for me than intel. So, yeah, the traits and stuff that you get from there, I just thought, well, it's more for me, especially as I haven't been able to afford to get the intel ships. If I had, then it'd probably be different.
I like some of the intel stats, and I put my other stuff in commando. And I know, Sun, you said you're all finished with pilot, but what have you been filling up?
Well, most of my 3 main characters are all engineering, so the first thing I ran them through was pilot, because
got the rock and roll.
Well, not even that. If somebody starts firing at my butt, I get to start moving faster. Hello. And I'm in a big, huge... Usually I'm in a big, huge hulking thing, too, so...
But intel's cool because if they start doing that and you lose your shields, they come back. And there's some buffs and stuff to help. If you get far enough.
Well, I have, well, now that I have a lot of the pilot stuff done for my main Fed, I have been doing the command. And, a lot of people go, well, oh, you're wanting the bridge reduction or the fleet support reduction. It's like, yeah, that's nice, but no, that's not the reason. There's like this whole thing about your torpedoes doing expose and tetryon damage, shield damage.
Interesting. What about you guys, Woody and Skip? What's your faves?
With the massagization side of
Yeah,
things.
have you guys been putting something in one of the specific schools, or are you just doing it everywhere?
I'm just putting it in everywhere. As soon as I get a token, I pretty much like putting in something, so it's sort of like create a bit of an even balance between the three. Well, I'm not really in the command one side of things yet. I'm just concentrating on the intel, pilot, and commando. So just chipping a little bit away in there, and then probably get into commando a little bit later on or something like that.
I feel like I'm the only one doing intel. This makes me sad. What about you, Skip?
I'm doing piloting because I'm doing cruisers.
Oh yeah, I
And
should
carriers.
look at the pilot. I should look at this pilot crap. I just started. I like ground stuff, so I did commando, and then the intel stuff. I have an intel cruiser as my main ship, so I just dumped in there.
Like for me, I only just got myself rock and roll, so I'm so like,
Yeah.
ooh, this is fun.
That was
Do
the
it
one
back-
thing that I definitely wanted. Is just like, yep, I'm doing pilot first because I love rock and roll. It's so good.
Crazy.
Especially for the crystalline entity as well. That's a good way to sort of avoid being blown up when it fires off its thing. So
Skip and I were just talking about strategies for that before the show, and I don't really have a problem blowing up to that thing. I think my ship is tanked enough. I usually just go down to 50 and pop right back up.
yeah, it depends how many's gone, because of course, especially with the catastrophe one that we're doing at the moment, when you've got all the Tholians and that, sometimes when they're all there and you've had some shards hit you, you can have low health. So having rock and roll at that point, you can use your engineering abilities to boost you up just far enough to like 50, and then do rock and roll to basically avoid the main damage. And yeah, you're fine.
Huh. I have this thing. I don't know. I think it's part of the intel, or it might be part of the tree, or maybe this intelligent cruiser. But when I get down to 0 halt, it pops me up to like structural integrity of like 100 for several seconds. So I never really blow up. And it's not the console that I took that out for the intel cruiser. So I don't know what it is. If that's a trait or if that's something that came from specialization points. But usually it's like my safety net. But I have no rock and roll, so whatever.
But yeah, it's mainly because of the ability. It's just like, yeah, I have to have that one. But yeah, going back to the Jem'Hadar strike ship, it itself comes with its own special ability and items. So the trait in the mastery is go for the kill. So that causes your critical hits while cannon rapid fire is active to extend the duration of the ability by 3 seconds. So yeah, especially that'd be a useful trait for if you're flying the Defiant as well, because most people tend to put cannons on that escort because it's nice and fast. So you just get in there, fire your cannons, and then fly off, turn around, and come back for another attack. So to be able to have your cannons go on rapid fire for an extra 3 seconds, you could do a hell of a lot more DPS with that.
Oh yeah, you can just clean house. I'm interested in doing that since I'm so used to beam boats and just flying around in a circle and zap 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 everything. So it will be interesting. I actually made a little. I had one of those stupid like temporal, I don't know, tactical escorts in a box. So I opened it up just to play with. I've never really flown an escort, and it's a little different. It turns a little faster.
A little. Yeah, when I went back to doing cruisers after probably spending about 2 years on the Defiant, it's just like, turn!
No.
Please
I have
turn!
so many things in there for like turn rate. It's crazy. Every stupid like universal console or whatever RCS accelerator, whatever it is. I've got all that crap. It's the only way to live on those cruisers.
Yeah, I always find actually the best thing for turning is evasive maneuvers. You wait to use that for when you actually need it.
Oh yeah, yep,
and
totally.
it gets you round. It's just like, yep. So, so yeah, that's definitely a nice, useful ability.
This particular ship is a T6 ship, isn't it? Yes,
It
yes,
is,
right,
yeah.
yes.
That's why.
Now this is rather concerning actually to me that this is a T6 ship. So I really do feel that there must be, we finally dealt with the Undine about having spies in our ranks and stuff like that. I got a feeling there must be a changeling in there. So all of a sudden, Jem'Hadar have a Tier 6 ship.
Just conspiracy theory.
It's conspiracy there.
Well, they are planning to redo the Cardassian arc, so you never know. Something may come out of there.
Yes.
When they do the reworks.
Dun, dun, dun.
What film was that from?
All I remember is from that excited chipmunk gopher internet video that was on for years and years and years. The dramatic turnaround. No one remembers that.
No. No, there's a film my son watches, something like The Groods or something like that. Oh, that's gonna bug me now. Yeah, it's an animated film where they're sort of cavemen, sort of.
Oh, The Croods.
The Crude, yeah. So
Crudes.
And yeah, there's a little. Was it sloth? No, not sloth. My mind has just gone blank today.
I think it's based on this woodchuck, dramatic woodchuck that I just sent you. I think that's like one of those famous YouTube videos that was everywhere for years.
Well, no, not even that. Just nobody remembered there was the dramatic upswing. That dramatic upswing was in Voyager and the Captain Proton stuff, remember?
Oh, yeah.
We're talking about B-movie real-type sound effects, you know?
That's the fleet holding for the Delta expansion is going to be
No,
Captain Proton.
no.
It is. Too late, you said it.
No.
It's going to be there.
No.
You've given them the idea now, son. It's all your fault.
Arachnia's lair for your fleet.
No. No, and I'll tell you why not. I'll tell you exactly why not. Because if they did that, they would literally have to hand us the Destructo Ray. And that's a thing that kills everything, remember?
Maybe that will be if you have enough fleet credit.
So, yeah. The other blog, which was about the making of it, sort of goes in about how they came up with the design, and it's got lots of images about all the different iterations that it went through. What do you guys think about the final products that they've got compared to what you see in the earlier drawings? Is there any there that you can sort of think, actually, I think I would have preferred that at all?
Oh, they all look ugly. It's terrible. I like the one in the lower left-hand corner the best, but it's the one that looks nothing like a Jem'Hadar ship, unfortunately.
But you can see where they've tried to integrate the Jem'Hadar ships that we did see in different variations. It's always interesting to see those because it's you always wonder how many sort of things they come up with first and what they scrap. So that's why I like that they do in these blogs now, because you can see the process. But no, it's definitely interesting. But yeah, we will have the links to those blogs in our show notes for anybody who has not already seen them. Now, next up is our release notes from Thursday, the 12th of March. So, one of the things they've sorted is level 50 enemies in all normal PvE queues will now reward the equivalent amount of skill points for defeating level 60 versions of that enemy. So, that should make doing some leveling up an awful lot easier with your skill points for people who only do the normal queues. One of the things that you guys talked about last week for the Crystalline Cataclysm was resolving problems with not gaining credit for completing the event. So that's good. It only happened to me twice.
Things.
So what was that?
Yeah, among other things, like the damn thing not being there.
Yeah. Those bugs had only happened to me twice, but I know a lot of people who have had that a lot more than sort of I have.
Now here's the thing. It took me a while to load the Jem'Hadar picture with all of them on there, all the different variants. On the left, you've got a lot of the traditional kind of, these are variants of the traditional Jem'Hadar ship. And then on the right, you have like a selection of things that kind of reminded me of the Goa'uld strike ships from Stargate.
Oh yeah, they do still think they're ugly.
But at the same time, I still think I like 10 the best, and 10 because to me 10 is the one that actually looks the most like an actual scarab beetle.
Oh, I didn't click on the stupid picture. Now
Yes.
I see what you're saying. Yeah,
Yes.
10 is nice. They all still look ugly. But God, I just like, why can't this be pretty? Like, this is why, if Xander was here, he'd say, this is why I like fake ships. But I agree with him. Like,
How would he go?
well, whatever. I love how Federation ships look. And this is just an example of that. These look ugly.
Well, I don't know. They did try to make some kind of compromises. 22,
Yeah, they tried.
22 kind of looks like a Voyager hull
Oh,
on
yeah,
the front
you're
of the
right.
ship.
That totally looks like the Rhode Island bit in the front or something. Totally. Well, I mean, the one they picked, I think is pretty good. I mean, comparatively to all this junk, but yeah. Oh, 23 is weird. That little horseshoe kind of look. That's interesting.
The 34 kind of reminds me of the what is it? The Jaeger class.
Yeah.
34 and 35 kind of remind me of that Jaeger class feeling, which is like the kit bash of the Peregrine and the Voyager hull.
Yeah, that's what I kind of like those a little bit. At least they're different. What's up with 29? That looks like a Star Wars thing. That's weird. There's like fins or something in front. I don't know.
See, to me, that's the one that looks the most like a kind of a Goa'uld strike ship going on. The only one that's better than that one is 19.
Thing with 29 is it looks like it's actually going the wrong way. It looks like the back is the front.
Yeah, it's just wacky. People that can't see this picture are going to be really confused by this conversation.
That's why we leave the links in the show notes. They can go, what conversation are they having here? Oh, well, I can click the link and look at the picture. And once you get to the blog, click the first picture. You will get a bigger picture than what you see in the blog, and it will have a lot more ships.
Hopefully people on Twitch will be able to see that link too. If there are people. I think there's people on Twitch.
Yeah, there are people on Twitch. I've pasted the link for the image in there. But yeah, if you click for full size image link underneath the first image of all the ships that you see, on the Making of the Jem'Hadar blog, you'll actually be able to open that up and you've got them all there. So,
I really like how they really did try to complete the scarab look of it by having a trying to mimic solar paneling on the shields on the back. Just
yeah,
how
I
we have
thought
the
that was
purple on the back.
interesting.
Yeah.
Sort of, yeah, the amount of detail that they go into that a lot of people don't see, because of course my old laptop, a lot of this stuff I just never see, because well, I'd actually go into STO and sort of, unless I was right next to an NPC, they wouldn't even render. They were just like a crash test dummy. So
No, for a while, pre-testing the Voth ground battle zone on the test server, it was hilarious because the big, huge walking mechs from far away wouldn't fully render properly, so you just had these Stretch Armstrong-like characters hunched down with their arms extended like they should be holding guns, and then when you got close, they started to form into these big, huge bubbles that eventually turned into the mechs.
that was my machine basically all the time. That's how bad it was. So now I've got a better laptop after my other one died. Yeah, looking at ships, even in sector space, it's like, ooh, I really must buy that one again.
You know, the sad thing is, this is actually why there are a few people who play Eve that don't play Eve. They just sit in their hangar bay and spin ships because the ships in Eve are pretty, and some of the ships in STO are rather beautiful. I'd be all for, you know, having like a hangar bay in somewhere in Star Trek Online where you can just park your ship and spin it and look at all the fine little details everywhere.
I know, but it's always hard to get the camera view on those things. But yeah, it'd be really nice to sort of get up close with different sort of lighting options, because man, they're pretty. And the thing is, I haven't even got the best graphics card you can have either, so I'm sure it looks even better with something sort of more up to date than the cheapy laptop that I've actually got. So,
if you just go around with just a 2 gigabyte video card, you'd do pretty well.
yeah. So yeah, they've resolved a load of other items. One of the things that they have put in is players should no longer be able to use the party powers such as disco balls on other players around the statue of Spock on Vulcan. So that's now been disabled. And they also added some additional names to the memory plaque, of course, as you discussed last week. So that has now actually been actioned. I think if there's anything else that sort of stood out to me, because there are various other things in the patch notes which have been done, but I didn't see anything else that was sort of something big that people have been asking for. Well, in my circles anyway. You guys notice anything in those?
No,
Not
just
really.
the usual things.
Nope.
Well, the only thing is, someone in the fleet, in Caspian fleet, so I point this out, it's just, all of a sudden the shields don't seem to be as effective as what they used to be.
What?
Someone tells me there must be some sort of bug or something like that. Well, he's, if you go into like system space and you have a look at, you know, put your mouse over your shield, and you sort of like get you see your shield strength and stuff like that. He says it seems like it's gone back to its default value with shield capacity and stuff like that. It doesn't, you know, do any enhancements from your skill tree or consoles. So, you know, I've really started to notice myself that the shields don't seem to be holding out as well as they used to be when I was doing, you know, crystalline entity and stuff like that. So hopefully someone's picked that up and reported it, or, you know, Cryptic knows about it, and hopefully
Well,
they'll
this is
have a look at something for next week.
This has actually been a bug that's been hyper specific to a very few select people that I know in game, that they've had this problem at least for the past year and better. And, it's not one of those things that's not really been paid attention to, because it's only a handful of people compared to the whole game. And it's like, we don't really think there's a problem. And now that more people are actually starting to see a problem, because it's actually starting to funnel out, it's probably going to get the attention it deserves.
Yeah, so you've been warned, Cryptic.
But as with all the other links, it will be in our show notes if you'd actually like to check out what all the rest of the updates are. Next up, we've had an announcement from Arc saying that they're shutting down the wallet functionality. So this is where you kept Zen before it went to the game. So with the introduction to Arc itself, they'd simplified the purchasing process. So it now looks like they're rolling that out to the website account. So yeah. If you use Arc to get your cash to Zen, then it's not really an issue. But I think this is mainly an issue if you actually use the website, if I'm not mistaken. Now, this change... Go ahead, Woody.
Yeah, I used the website to get my Zen and stuff like that and transfer it over to game. So, far as I can make out from all of this, it's still like more trying getting people to be using the Arc avatar more than the website. I don't know if it's true or not, but I'll find out, won't we?
Yeah. Basically, the changeover is going to be on Tuesday, the 17th of March. But they have said that it could take a couple of ideas. It could take a couple of days for the changeover to actually finish up. But they said it won't affect your ability to access Arc or any of the games. So yep. Hopefully there won't be too many problems with that one. I know a member of my fleet telling me that he got some Zen today, and though his bank says it was successful, he still hasn't received the Zen. So got him to create a court ticket. So hopefully this won't cause any more problems. So before we have a look at the Foundry, is there any other news you guys have heard this week that I have left out? I guess that's silence.
Not to my knowledge.
Okay. So Woody, photons of possibility.
Just give me a show notes. Well, first up, this is actually my 50th Foundry mission I've reviewed on the show. So, yeah,
Congratulations!
Thank you. Yes, so this mission is called Photons of Possibility by Heisenberg. The basic outline of the story is as you take supplies from the Ikari system, which is located in near Memory Alpha, just above Saris Sector Block there, to go to the Psi Valorium Sector Block. So you just pretty much just go in there, pick up some supplies, have a chat with a couple of aliens there and whatnot, and a couple of dialogue boxes, hop back out of the map, then you travel down to Psi Valorium to one of the planets or one of the systems there in the bottom left-hand corner there. There you helped in taking part of a investigation of a Starfleet officer with a twist of it's got a little bit of a twist in there where you have a unsuspecting ally you pick up towards the end of the mission. So it's a very well thought out style of mission there. Quite enjoy the storyline. It's probably there's just some little bits there that might cause a little bit of confusion, where just certain maps that sort of like make everything a little bit tight with when it comes to just clicking on consoles and whatnot. You really need to have a good look at the map and try and centralize yourself on the map to make things happen, basically. Might be something you might need to adjust just to help the player base out. That's about the only real fault about it. It is a level 50 or 48, I think it is, because you will be fighting Borg with this towards the end. So it is like a level 48, I think, is that you can start hitting Borg characters with. So all in all, it's quite a good mission. It does give quite a decent amount of dilithium from it upon completion. So I gave it 4 stars. So yeah, definitely worth the play. So once again, it's called Photons of Possibility by Heisenberg.
Okay. So what star rating did you give that in the end?
I just mentioned that, 4 stars.
You did. Sorry, I was checking on something and I couldn't remember if you'd said it or not. Okay. Well, I think that's it for this week. So thank you everybody for joining us. And we will catch you next week. And we're going to try doing like last week before. No, it was last week, wasn't it? Don't know where time's going. So yeah, we're going to try doing an hour earlier. So we will be starting at 7 PM Eastern next Friday, which will be Friday the 20th of March. So until then, see you next week. Take care, everyone.
Later.
Bye.
Live long and prosper.
Thanks for tuning in to tonight's broadcast of Tribbles and Ecstasy, a production of Holosuite Media. Tune in to our live show every Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Be sure to check Holosuite Media, iTunes, and Stitcher Satellite Radio for our remastered shows and more. You can follow us on Twitter at Tribbles and XTC, or if you have any questions or comments, please send an email to tribblesandEcstasy@gmail.com. Join us next week for another episode of Tribbles and Ecstasy, the only place where Tribbles and Klingons are friends.